Hello, this is Nate. This is the台本なし英会話レッスン podcast, and today is going to be an English-only episode. So if that's okay with you, keep listening. For announcements, well, thanks everyone for signing up to come to the 台本なし event in Tokyo in just a week and a half. So it's November 18th. Thank you so much. I'm really looking forward to seeing everyone. It's going to be a blast. I can't wait. Also, I can't wait to check out Tokyo a little bit. I won't have too much time there, but I'll have probably at least lunch and breakfast and a couple extra hours in the city. So if you guys have any recommendations, I think I want to get some interesting food, maybe a burger or some Mexican food or some international food, because I know Tokyo is famous. Well, it's not famous for international food, or maybe it is. I don't know. But there's probably more international food than in Osaka, so it's a good chance to do that. On another topic, thank you guys for following us on social media. So that's Instagram and Twitter and YouTube, especially Sota. I think he is going to start uploading on YouTube. I'm not sure exactly, but he talked about it on Instagram, how he wants to do that, about his trip to Cambodia or about travel or something like that. Also, yes, Sota just got back from Cambodia, so that's another interesting thing that's happening with us. With him. With me, not really. Alright guys, those are the announcements, and yeah, let's start this episode. Alright, so what's the topic for today? It is American game night games. Yeah, game night. So what am I talking about? Well, in America, there's something called game night. So the reason I actually thought of this topic is I watched a movie. It was on the airplane coming back from my hometown, and the title of the movie is Game Night. So what is game night? What is American game night? Well, I don't know, all countries or some countries have this thing, game night. It's when you get together with your friends or your family and you play a game together. And it could be a board game, could be a card game, but often these are kind of interacting kind of games. So, of course, a popular one is Monopoly. So that's a board game. I'll talk about board games a different time. I probably have explained a little bit about Monopoly before. But anyways, for game night, and especially if it's older people like college students or adults, then we like to play kind of guessing games or more like social speaking type of games. So I'm going to introduce a few of the games, and maybe you know these games because if you took an English conversation lesson, maybe you did this type of game in class to practice English. So yeah, I'm going to introduce a few games that I used to play or that I still do play with friends for game night. Okay, the first one, I've talked about this before. This is my favorite one. It's called Pictionary. Pictionary. So, what is Pictionary? Well, it's funny I'm talking about this on a podcast because Pictionary is something you need to see. So it's not a speaking game, actually. It is a drawing and guessing game. So what you do is you get into teams of maybe 2 or 3 or even 4 people, and each team has to choose one person to draw. And then that person takes a card, and the card has a word or a phrase on it. For example, the card could say something simple like dog or cat or beer or something. Those would be easy ones. So, for example, if the card says cat, then you need to start the timer, and the person who saw the card, only one person can see the card. That person has to draw, for example, a cat. And the other teammates have to guess the word cat. So they're trying to draw a cat. Other people are like, animal, dog, tiger, cat, right? And, oh, you got it. So if they can guess cat, then they can win. The traditional Pictionary game is actually a board game. Board, of course, that's B-O-A-R-D, board. So when you guess a correct answer, you can move your game piece after you roll the dice. So you roll the dice and you get like 5, for example. Then you move your piece 5 spaces. And the team that gets to the end wins. So the board is very simple. It's just a place to move your piece. But the real game is drawing a card, looking at it, and trying to draw the word on the card. So I used to play this game, I think I've talked about this before, with my family, and we didn't have game night. We played this game during like family occasions. So a family occasion is like a family gathering or a family party. So the most memorable one is during Christmas. Actually, during Christmas Eve is when my whole family on my mom's side gets together. Grandma, aunts, uncles. This is the same family that I just met when I had my grandma's 80th birthday, the reason I went back to America. So this big family, about 20 or 30 people, we all get into groups and play this game, Pictionary. Oh my gosh, it gets crazy sometimes. Some people are just, having fun, joking around, trying to win. Other people are very serious. They don't want to lose. So they might start complaining, oh, we got this one first. You didn't get it. Oh, I said, so if the hint was cat and we could guess cat first, I say, no, we guessed cat first. And the other people say, no, you didn't. We got it first. So people start fighting. And I think 1 or 2 times we actually had to stop playing because people were fighting too much. So that's an example of an American kind of social interactive game that we play. That's really fun. I like this game especially, 1, because it's fun, 2, because it's with family, but 3, it's funny to see like people's pictures, like especially my picture, because I don't know if you guys have seen, but I'm not good at drawing. Like when I draw a person, it always looks scary. Like, I don't know why. I try to draw like a nice, like smiling person, but it looks like a ghost or like a skeleton or like a scary thing. And especially if I draw a woman, if I'm trying to draw a woman, it always looks like a man. I don't know why. I can't draw like a girl or a woman. So anyways, I don't know why that is, but that's a side topic. Anyways, this game is called Pictionary, and that's one of my favorite games to play for a game night or just with family during the daytime, at a party, whatever. Okay. Second game. This is probably the most traditional, the most typical game for a game night. Charades. Yeah, it's called charades. How would you spell that, right? It's kind of difficult because sh sounds like SH, but it's actually CHARADES. Charades. This game is actually very simple, but we play it a lot, especially as kids, but also as adults. We play this game when we have a party at like a house party and you want something to do while you're drinking. Drinking some wine, eating some appetizers, or eating after dinner, maybe eating some dessert. And this is a good game to play, to have some fun, to interact. So what is charades? Well, it's kind of similar to Pictionary, except for Pictionary, you draw the word or the hint that you get. You check a card, you see the word, and you try to draw it. Charades, you act the word or phrase, so your teammate can guess the word. So in this case, if you pick a card and the card says cat, you don't draw a cat, you act out a cat, right? And your partners or your teammates have to guess the word cat. So it's kind of similar, right, to Pictionary, except for you have to move your body and you have to sometimes look really stupid when can you imagine like acting out a cat, right? You can't make a noise. So that's the thing about charades, is it should be silent. So it's just moving your body and acting, right? So you would have to kind of move your hands like to look like a cat's paw, and like maybe you can use your finger to like move your fingers so they look like cat's ears, or you walk around on your hands like a cat. So yeah, this game is pretty crazy because some of the words or phrases you have to act out, you just look like a weirdo when you have to do it, right? And some of them are like actions. So I actually checked on the internet like examples of like charades that you would choose. Some of them are just words, but some of them could be an action. For example, like brushing your teeth, right? That one's pretty easy. You can get that one probably quickly. How about something like flying a kite, right? So a kite is, you hold the string and you go outside and the wind is blowing the I guess it's plastic or paper kite in the air that children usually do. So you'd have to act out flying a kite, and your partner or teammates have to guess it. So this one's pretty fun, and it can be even more difficult. Like the hint could be a movie title, and you have to act out that movie title. So that's even more difficult, right? So I think if they're children, the charades are easier, like animals or actions or famous people or whatever. But if they're for adults, maybe the action is more detailed, right? Like going to the car wash or something, right? Something more complicated that you have to really act out, or like a movie title or a book title or something like that. So that is the second game that we play. It's called charades. My experience with this game, well, I remember playing it at family friends parties, and we kind of, like charades is kind of like it's just a well-known game that you don't have to buy. You can just do it, right? You can check on the internet, you can look for some examples of words or phrases that you have to act out. And one person, like maybe your mom or your dad or whoever, the person who's hosting the party, they can write down those different hints on the pieces of paper and fold the paper and put them into like a jar. And then when you play the game, you just pick one of the papers out of the jar, look at it, and act out the charade. So I did that style of charades at family friends parties. And I think we did, similar type of games where you have to act out and give hints about a secret word or phrase. So that's another game that's pretty popular. Okay, so the last one I wanted to talk about is called a trivia game. So trivia games are also popular, especially for adults, but for children too. Trivia means like information or kind of the knowledge that you have. For example, it's not like super important for your job or something, but it's something that you learned in school or something that you know from being in the society or in the culture. So trivia can be just any information that's in the world that you can learn as a person. So it could be history. It could be about celebrities. It could be about technology. It could be about any of these topics that is kind of like common knowledge, but some people know it and some people, they know it, but they can't remember it. So it's not like so impossible. It's not like really difficult information, but some of the information you don't know, sometimes you have to try to remember. You say, oh, I heard that information, or I learned that when I was a kid, but I forget now. So I just wanted to give you some examples. In America, there's a game called Trivial Pursuit, and that is a trivia game. So what you do is you pick a card, and the card has like a question on it, and you just have to answer the question. It's very simple. And then I think there's a board where you roll the dice and you can move your piece. But basically, they're cards with questions on them, and you have to answer the question. Some of them might be history, pop culture, stuff like that, music. So I have a couple examples. So I checked on the internet, and I found some just random trivia questions. So this is the type of question that would be on the card at this for this game called Trivial Pursuit. Like one of them, it says, when referring to cables used to transmit audio and video, what does HDMI stand for? So this is a technology question. Maybe you own a TV, or I guess it could be a computer too, and there's a cable. It's called an HDMI cable. So we all know that cable, I think, but we don't know what the H or the D or the M or the I is. H, what is it? High? Yeah, I think it's high, right? D, what's that? Right, so you have to remember, and it's a trivia game, and you can't take a long time. You have to answer kind of quickly. So the answer for this one, do you know the answer? What does HDMI stand for? I think it's high. Let's see. I think it's high definition, medium input, maybe? Nope. It's high definition multimedia interface. Ooh. So I would get that question wrong if I was playing Trivial Pursuit. Another example of a question is, what three colors appear on the flag of Ireland? Okay, so what three colors are on the flag of Ireland? You know, Ireland, it's in Europe, near England. So what colors are the flag? Do you remember? I think it's definitely white. That's an easy one. Green and orange. Ooh, I hope that's right. Green, white, and orange. Yes, I checked the answer, and I'm correct. So I got that question correct. And I didn't check this before I recorded the podcast. Please trust me on that. So anyways, this is an example of a game, a trivia game. Just to check, trivia is TRIVIA, trivia. And it means information or knowledge that everyone has, or the kind of the stuff that we learn in school or in the culture. Okay, so those are 3 games that we play in America for game night, or you can just play anytime with your friends, family, classmates, whoever. The first one was called Pictionary, where you draw a picture and you guess the word or phrase. The second one was Charades. That's where you have to act out without speaking or writing. You have to act out the word. And finally, Trivial Pursuit, or trivia games, which are the kind of general category. And for this game, you have to pick a card and you have to answer a trivia question about some topic in the world. Woo, all right. So what do you guys think about game night games? Do you want to try some of these? personally, as I said, I love Pictionary. So I'm thinking, like, I want to have a Pictionary game night with either my students or with maybe, podcast listeners or my followers on social media or something. I want to figure out how I can do that. Maybe it could be just for fun on Instagram Live or something. I could do a little Pictionary with you guys. So what do you think? If you want me to try to do something, maybe on Instagram Live with one of these games, please send me a message, a comment, and maybe in the future, I can play these games with you guys. All right. Thank you so much for listening. And just remember to follow Sota and I on social media, especially Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Alrighty, guys. Have a good rest of the week, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.